everyone, Laura with We Met Wirework and More, and today I am going to show you how to make this super cute little terracotta pot. So the materials we're going to use today for this project are a little door and a window and some cute little mushrooms that I made using Sculpey clay and some molds that I purchased off of Amazon. So I started by gluing with hot glue onto this terracotta pot. Now, in addition to using our glue gun to attach them initially, we're going to dope it up with white glue as well, and this will help fasten it permanently to our clay pot. But first, we are going to attach everything with our glue gun. All right, there we go. We have attached it to our pot. And then what we're going to do is take our glue. I tend to thin this out a little bit because it can be quite thick, and then we're just going to put a few drops of glue in here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take just these really great little black stones. And as you can see, they're nice and flat. They're not very large, so they're not going to weigh very much. And then we are going to start by adding them underneath our door here, just to build up a little bit of bulk. And I'll put a few in here while we're at it. Now we've let this all dry overnight, and as you can see, we did fill in those gaps with these rocks, and I really quite like the contrast the way that it is. At this stage, we are going to paint our door and our window and our mushrooms. I use straight up old-fashioned acrylic paint, and these are the colors that I find work well together. So there's a turquoisey blue, there's a brown, a white, a yellow, a black, and a red. Now you could paint this before we actually attach them. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I chose to do it this way so that you could see the details in the cast pieces that we've glued onto our pot. So let's get started. I'm just taking my black and I am painting those stones around the door. I kind of want them to tie in with the stones that we used around the base. So after I attached the stones, I did fill in some of the cracks or some of the blank spots with some sand. And this is just regular garden sand or sandbox sand. Then we're going to take our brown And we are going to do our door. I wouldn't worry about being too terribly neat with this because we are going to do a wash with the black as well. As you can see, it's sort of smearing, and that's the effect that we want with these. And we're going to just spread some of that black around so that all that wood grain pops. Making sure all of our nooks and crannies and crevices are nicely filled up. Awesome, love it. So easy to do. So the same thing with the wood trim around the window. Okay, so that's our brown. Hopefully you can see all of the contrast in that. As you can see, we have a beautiful sunny day here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Spring has sprung, I think. So just for ease, I'm going to, oops, not what I wanted. I wanted the turquoise. I'm just going to kind of flip this upside down. And we're going to take our turquoise and we're going to paint. Got a little bit too much water in my brush here. We're going to just paint the top of our mushroom here. Our paint has had a chance to dry in the most part. There's still a few wet spots here and there, and that is okay. We'll continue to let that dry. Next, we are going to add a little bit of that same turquoise. We're going to dry brush it onto the rocks here that surround the door and then are on the lintel of the window. So we've got a pretty generous amount of turquoise paint on here, and we're just going to dab it on our paper towel. And this will allow there to be just a bit spread through the brush, and then we're going to just lightly wipe this on our rocks. And I hope you can see that. And it's just adding a little bit of dimension to those rocks. And you see the seams between them. on the red, let's start with our mushrooms. Now there's raised spots here already for where the dots can be. So I've just taken a bit of paint on the end of my paintbrush, and I'm going to color the top of those dots. I like how zingy the turquoise and the red look together. A little bit of a mess here. I'll clean that up once everything is said and done. All right, super cute. Now we're going to take our yellow and we are going to paint these hinges so that they stand out a bit. And the little doorknob and the keyhole. So before we do the moss, I want to show you what I did. So I went in with just our white acrylic and I dry brushed on some white. So that's quite simply taking our white and dabbing it as we had with the blue or with the turquoise, and then we just take it and we just lightly wipe across our project. And it just highlights it a little bit. It was looking just a little too dark, a little too brown for my liking, and so it just makes the raised stuff pop. And especially on the window here, because I felt like we had kind of lost it in the black rocks that we had surrounding it. And then what I did, as you can see, this is how we left our mushroom before I stopped taping so that everything had a chance to dry. So I've gone in and I've added white dots on top of the red dots, and then I just dabbed some white paint on the stem of our mushroom, which once again also makes it stand out a little bit more. It's less shocking, I guess, as it just gives it a little bit more of a subtlety. Now to add the dots to the top of our mushrooms, I just take the end of our brush, dip it in the paint once again, and you want to have a light hand with this. So we just want to give a quick little dab, and I'm doing the larger ones first because we'll do the smaller ones with the actual brush part of our paintbrush. So this is just some green moss that I found at the craft store, and I'm going to put that off to the side for 1 second. What I do is I take and I break up the big pieces, the long pieces of this. I think that's good. And then taking our white glue and also an old paintbrush, we're going to stuff all these empty spaces, all of these crevices, with moss. Awesome. Now this part, there's not really any cracks, but I'd like to glue a little bit of moss in there just for the sake of evening it out a little bit. is a really great base for the mushrooms as well. And there we have it. Isn't that just too adorable? So once again, this is Laura with We Met Wirework and More. And if you like this project, please subscribe to our channel. Give us the thumbs up. Click that bell so you get notifications for our new projects. And certainly leave me your comments. I enjoy seeing photos of finished products. And check out our social media links, and those will all be listed in the description below. So for now, enjoy the spring weather. I know we certainly are, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Take care.